Okay, we're going to look at the Lesson 14 problem set. So here's the summary, and here's our first problem. The meat department manager at a grocery store is worried some of the packages of ground beef labeled as having 1 pound of meat may be underfilled. He decides to take a sample of 5 packages from a shipment containing 100 packages of ground beef. The packages were numbered as they were put in the box, so each has a different number between 1 and 100. Describe how the manager can select a fair sample of 5 packages. So we need this to be random, that way it's fair. The easiest way to get a random sample is just to make a list of the numbers 1 to 100, put them in a bag, shake it up, and then pick out the slips of paper. The slips of paper would need to be the same size, and everyone would need the same opportunity to be chosen. So that's how I would do that. Randomly, by making that list of 1 to 100 and making sure those were the same size, and then selecting out of that. You could probably also use a random number generator online, where you would just make it from 1 to 100 and then let it randomly pick 5 numbers. Either way would work. Now, number 2, select all the reasons why random samples are preferred over other methods of getting a sample. Okay? If you select a random sample, you can determine how many people you want in the sample. Well, it doesn't have to be random for me to determine how many people I want. I could say I want 10 people in my sample and just go pick out 10 people that are going to say what I want them to say. That's not random. A random sample is always the easiest way to collect a sample. Nope, that's called a convenience sample, and a random sample is not always the easiest way, but it's the fairest. Okay, a random sample is likely to give you a sample that is representative of the population. Yes, this is true. A random sample is a fair way to select a sample because each person in the population has an equal chance of being selected. That is the heart of the matter. Okay, if you use a random sample, the sample mean will always be the same as the population mean. No, it should be close if it's random, but nope, it's not going to be exact. Okay, moving on. Number 3, Jada's using a computer's random number generator to produce 6 random numbers between 1 and 100, so she can use a random sample. The computer produces the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Should she use these numbers or have the computer generate a new set of random numbers? Explain your reasoning. Well, if she used a random number generator, we have to assume these are random numbers. So it is just as likely for her to pick these numbers, even though it feels unlikely, as any other. So unless she has a reason to think that the computer is broken or malfunctioning, she should not get a new set. These numbers should be random if she used a random number generator. Number 4. A group of 100 people is divided into 5 groups with 20 people in each group. One person's name is chosen, and everyone in their group wins a prize. Noah simulates the situation by writing 100 different names on paper and putting them in a bag. Then he draws one out. Karen suggests there is a way to do it with fewer slips. Explain a method that would simulate the situation with fewer than 100 slips of paper. Okay, so he's going to get 20 out of 100, but there's groups, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and everybody in the group gets a prize. So couldn't I just do out of 5 instead? So I'm dividing by 20, divide by 20, which would give me 1. So I could do 1 slip out of 5 total slips. I could put the group numbers instead of the people and use fewer slips. Okay, last question. Data collected from a survey of American teenagers aged 13 to 17 was used to estimate that 29% of teens believe in ghosts. This estimate was based on data from 510 American teenagers. What is the population that people carrying out the survey were interested in? Were these people interested in all the people in the United States? The 510 teenagers they surveyed, all American teens, who are between the ages of 13 and 17, or just the 29% of the teens surveyed who said they believed in ghosts? So the population, the whole that this sample represents, all American teens between the ages of 13 and 17.